take your Christmas vacation, your Thanksgiving vacation, and you go work and do the test runs. If it's not working, it may not work, but you're gonna start learning something. The best thing you're gonna learn is this for you. You get out there and driving trucks because you see people making money and you ain't no truck driver. Get your behind back in that office, man.
That's a fact. Until you figure out what it is that you're gonna be able to do.
You're not no truck driver, man. I done told several people that. Well, you ain't no truck driver. Stop it. You just want to chase the bag.
Thank you so much for watching the Work and Play podcast. This episode is sponsored by the Boss Up Conference, which is a community for entrepreneurs, CEOs, celebrities, and corporate executives to come together, network, and solve some problems. Thank y'all so much for being supporters of the Work and Play podcast. And thank you for watching the Work and Play podcast and all the episodes before. Now let's get back to the episode. Welcome to another episode of the Work and Play podcast. I'm your host, Ariel, and we're about to have the best episode of the Work and Play podcast ever. I'm just going to claim it. We're going to claim it, right?
Oh, you'll claim it.
So, Mr. Alex Bostic is here with me today. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Alexander Bostic, and I am a wolf.
You are a wolf. You going to start just like that?
Yes.
Now, let me tell you what I learned about wolves, because I have done a lot of research. So first I started learning about lions, because for a long time people were like, oh, you got a little masculine energy, da da da. I'm like, nah, I'm a lion. Just because you're a gazelle does not mean that makes me masculine. It just makes me a lion.
Right.
You're a gazelle.
Right.
Then I said, I don't know if a lion really resonates with my spirit. So I had to do a little bit more research. I learned about wolves. Right. And the difference between a wolf and a lion. Lions hang out in prides. They're very individualistic characters.
In packs.
They hang out in packs.
Yep.
But when the male is done, the male is done. They walk, they do what they got to do, and the women, they kind of take care of themselves. It's cool, but they do fend for themselves, and if they don't have a male to help them take down the buffalo, they die. I say all that to say wolves stick together.
That's right.
They have a value system.
Right.
Lions don't have a value system.
Right.
So when you say the wolf, what do you mean? I
mean two different things about the wolf, right? And those people that follow me and watch my live, they understand what I'm gonna say. But a wolf, the mindset of a wolf, if you standing behind me, I'm going to protect you. If you're standing beside me, I'm going to respect you. If you're standing in front of me, you're my op. I'm going to destroy you.
Oh, shoot.
So let's pick which one you want to be. And that's what it's about. Also, my good friend Jerry, he told me the story between the dog and the wolf. You heard that story before?
I have not.
Okay. There's a story that goes with the dog and the wolf. The dog sees the wolf and he says, man, why are you so scrawny and so skinny? And the wolf said, I have to forage for my food. And the wolf said, why are you so plump? He said, I have an owner. He said, I get 3 meals a day. I got benefits. When it's cold, I go inside. When it's a good day, I go outside. So he says, you want to come see how I live? He said, okay, fine. We see how he live. He see the owner. He said, I have an owner. They have kids. And the wolf asked the dog, what is that around your neck? He said, that's my collar. I'm on a chain. I can't go anywhere now. So he said, you can't go nowhere. The wolf takes off and runs. The whole story behind it is, if you are the dog, that puts you in the mindset. Now, this was Jerry telling me, because Jerry called me the wolf. He said, Alex, you're a wolf. He telling me, so I'm like, what are you finna say? So the end of the story is the wolf takes off, but the dog is actually the employee that stays on the job, that gets all the benefits, but never can go anywhere. On vacation, they got to ask permission to go this place, that place, but they get fed very well. Yeah. The wolf, if we don't grind, we don't eat.
Facts.
If we don't get out and forage for our food, we don't eat.
Facts.
So when it comes together, that's why I like to work with entrepreneurs, because we are a pack together. Yes. We're all trying to get the kill, but at the same time, when we eat, we still got to go to our different ways. So that's why I say I'm a wolf, because a lot of people try to say, what do you do? I say, I just grind and hustle. That's all I know how to do.
Yeah. And you know what? That goes back to the whole thing. Your first reason why you're a wolf, and how you explained it so eloquently, which I wish I could. But if you are behind me, I'll protect you. If you're on the side of me, I'll respect you. And if you're in front of me, you the op.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I
got to come get you. Because if you my teammate, you with me.
Facts.
Or you trying to help me accomplish a goal.
Right.
at the end of the day. But if you're in front of me now, why are you against me?
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
That's the value system.
I always learned that, you know, they say the crab in the, I don't want to keep going with these analogies because I got to, you know, they always say, you know, the crab in the bucket, they always try to pull you down, but I say it's actually 3 crabs. You got a crab that's trying to get out, right? You got a crab that's pulling that person down so they won't get out.
Yes.
Right? Then you got the crab that's on the top of the pot throwing rocks to make sure you don't get out. So you got people in life that make sure you don't even get out.
That's a fact. Have you always thought this strategic?
Huh? All the time.
This right here, this right here is this is the epitome of why I had you, like, I really was excited for you to come on and join me on the podcast. Because when we met, you talked about your journey and how you would prefer to go through the system, right? To go through a system and really prove your work ethic as opposed to relying on any type of relationships, any type of social capital, as opposed to your work ethic and your own value, which ties back to the way the wolf operates.
There you go.
When it comes to, this is the last thing I'm gonna say about wolves, because I did not know you was gonna say that. But when you say, like, you operate as a team, as entrepreneurs, I really do feel like we have to understand the order of things, right? Wolves operate with that order, but when I think it has to be understood among the other wolves, what the actual order is, without feeling like there's any type of animosity.
Right.
So getting into it, when you feel like when you operate with entrepreneurs, how do you navigate managing that value system with people who, new entrepreneurs like myself, who don't necessarily know what that order is or how to operate?
Everybody got to understand and realize, what do they want? What do you want out of the deal? Because if you feel like you're not getting what you want out of the deal, you're going to act different. You're going to act out of character. You got to establish that up front. Partnerships are key because you got to understand what you want out of the deal. Are you getting a partner just to say somebody is helping me? You could have did this by yourself and paid somebody to do what they're going to do. You get what I'm saying? So we understand, what do we want out of the deal? This is the end goal. So once you know what you want, I know what I want out of the deal, we're going to work together. And anything that conflicts that, we're going to meet together and say, look, this is what we said at the beginning.
Got it. To come back to communication.
Right. Because with the wolf thing, the whole thing is to attack the bison. That's why the wolves are so important, because they attack to kill. One of the largest animals that's out there. But as a pack, we can kill it together.
Facts.
So once we kill it, I just want my piece and go back and feed my family. You just want your piece. We understand what we want. We want to kill. We want to survive, because at the end of the day, we're trying to make it out of the system.
We're trying to make it out of the system. Bingo. So when it comes to the system, let's get into your story a little bit. So when I met you, or when I say met you, when I became aware of you, you were sharing your story on Donnie Wiggins Live, and
Donnie made me famous.
Man, did she?
Yeah, Donnie made me famous.
Listen,
I went to the Social Proof podcast, and then everybody was like, I know you. I said, you do not know me. There's no way you know me.
Facts.
They said, yes, you do. You was on Donnie's podcast. I'm like, why? Who is Donnie? I didn't know she was this famous. So Donnie made me famous. You know, I appreciate Donnie for that. But yes, so you did see me on the podcast.
Yes, and the way you capitalized on that moment, I think you spoke for about 15 seconds. So for everybody to have yes. So, and this is the thing. I don't know if this is a wolf thing, but because I'm more of a in the moment, I explore, I experience, right? I know what my values are, so I'm here to get what I'm getting. And then people experience me, right? The way you showed up, she put you on a live, and this is how you told your story, and this is what captivated me. You said, when I used to work in, when I used to be in Miami, my older brother used to play football with Rick Ross. Right. And I used to carry their shoulder pads back to, and I wasn't sure what you said, back to
the locker room.
The locker room, gotcha. Right. You said when you got to Atlanta, you didn't go straight to Rick Ross, even though you knew him. Right. You decided to apply for a bid for the job because you had already had your company at the time. You're gonna have to fill in some gaps for me. But you decided to bid for the job, go through the process, and as soon as you got the bid, you introduce yourself. Hey, I used to know you when I was younger.
Absolutely.
So from that point, what that spoke to me was, this is a man who's willing to let his work ethic speak for itself. I'm a big relationship person, but I don't like to I don't leverage relationships in the way that some people like opportunistically do.
Absolutely.
So that spoke to me, right? And now that we're talking about values, it's like, okay, there's strategy, but then there's also you being zoned out. So that's how I got introduced to you.
Right.
So when it comes to like your journey, I'm curious to know how you started to develop this way, like how you developed your value system. Let's start with first of all, because you are Wolf, and I'm sure you know your values and what you want to get out of things.
Right.
What would you say are your, like, do you have a top 5 value list? What guides your decision making?
What guides my decision making?
Yes.
Other people's failures.
Okay. You like to get real cryptic with the answers. We're gonna dig into this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Other people's failures. Because, and of course, in the Bible, you have a lot of success and you have failures. But, you have to dive in and say, what are some things that people failed at?
Okay.
Certain kings, certain monarchs, they failed at certain things. As somebody that's looking back in history, if you don't capitalize on that, you're going to become that same person. In business, you have people that succeed and people that fail. So I like to find out what people did wrong. I don't like to hear success stories a lot of times because the people that are successful, they rarely tell you how they are successful. But you always hear about the failures. So you could take those things and you could build up, say, you know what, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that. So one thing that guides me is that with my Ruach, I can't go against my beliefs, my core value and my beliefs, some things that guide me. Because a lot of time in business, people compromise on what they believe to get what they want. I don't do that. Since I moved to Atlanta, I have not worked a Saturday yet because that's my belief. That's my rest day. And I told myself, I want to make $1 million and do it the right way. So I don't compromise on what my beliefs are. So people that are partnering with me, they respect that. They respect that. And that's kind of, my core values and my core beliefs. But at the same time, I work Saturday night. I work Friday night. I work 6 days a week. Period.
And when you think about the work that you do on a Saturday, is it work or is it stuff that you actually enjoy doing? And you can answer it any type of way. Is it both?
What I do on a Saturday is what I enjoy doing.
Okay.
That's my time with my family. Right.
Even if it's evening or early in the morning.
Yeah, it's with my family. So, but at the same time, you got to have some time of rest to say, look, let me take this time for me. I can sleep. I don't have to wake up. I don't have to wake up. I don't have to be asleep the whole time. I still can wake up and make things happen.
You can still wake up and make things happen.
Right.
So do you plan your Saturdays?
Yes.
I'm a big planner.
Yes.
So you plan your Saturdays, you know what you're going to be doing.
Every day, every time.
Yeah?
No doubt in my mind.
Okay.
My kids know what we're going to be doing. Right.
You have 6 children.
I have 6.
Now, what is it like running a house of 6 children as a wolf? Do you teach them values first or do you teach them like discipline? What's the order and process of letting
You have to have a strong mate. And somebody understands your vision and your goals.
So you telling me there's another wolf at home taking care of the cubs?
She protects the house.
Yeah.
One that keeps the house together. That's what the aim is. Strong glue, strong water. You're going to hold this together while I go and find out. Go and find and bring back. So we have a good relationship.
Beautiful.
And so that's what it's all about. And my kids know, my oldest son, my youngest son, they know if something happened to daddy, they got to take the reins ASAP.
Yeah.
ASAP. You already know what to do. Stop crying, daddy dead, daddy in the casket. I lived in the dashes. Now my end date has come. You heard about living in the dashes?
I have not.
Oh, man.
Oh, wait a minute. Living in the dashes between, begin date and end date?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you have to live in the dash.
Absolutely.
That's the only thing that matters in life.
Yes.
You were born and you're going to die, but they're going to look at you and they're going to grade you on what did you do in the dash, in the middle. That's the important part.
Now, you're an entrepreneur now. Have you always wanted to be an entrepreneur? Were your parents entrepreneurs?
My dad, he had business. My dad had always had new businesses. We selling vacuum cleaners. We selling meat. We selling travel agencies. And I always we had a barbecue stand. And my dad was a pastor for 27 years at First Baptist Church. 27 years, I was a PK.
Preacher's kid.
So I understand business by dealing with people. You got people hate you and you got people love you. But yet they call you, they say they love you. How you hate and loving the same person? I saw my dad, he always stayed steadfast in what he did. And and I always put on a suit and I follow him. And the same thing with my sons do as well.
Did your dad teach you, like, as you were watching him as you were growing up, was your dad intentional in the way that he was teaching you about entrepreneurship, or did you just learn by example?
By watching.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you ask a lot of questions?
No, I always did. I actually kind of did the opposite on what he wanted me to do.
What do you mean?
Like, like if he wanted to take me fishing, I'll go ask 3 of my friends to come with us to go fishing.
Okay.
Because he wanted to teach me something, but I still brought my friends along. You get what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying. What was your point in doing that?
It just felt like I wanted to be around somebody.
Okay.
And if I'm getting this experience, I want them to get the experience too. That's why me and my friends are still close, because my dad raised a lot of my friends.
Yes. Did they also have their fathers?
Some did, some don't, you know? So it was just about that. It was preparing me then about entrepreneurship. In order to be a good leader, you got to be a good follower. In order to be a good boss, you got to be a good employee. A lot of people say, yeah, worse employee, so I'm going to get my own. There's no way.
That's a fact.
There's no way. If you're a horrible employee, you're not going to be a good boss.
Yeah. So all of these things make sense. When I was in corporate, I used to, and I tell my clients this, right? If you don't like your job right now, you just want to dash out, quit, and fire your boss because you hate the job.
Right.
You're gonna recreate the same problems that you created
right.
when you were when you go into entrepreneurship. Terrible employee makes a terrible entrepreneur, right? So when would you say you became an entrepreneur? From under your dad's tutelage, when would you say you became an entrepreneur? The top 3 responses that I get when I ask, why do you want to leave corporate America, are that you want financial freedom, you want to own your own time, and you want to build a legacy for this generation and generations to come. Now, this is not a solo job. In order to transition from your 9-to-5 into entrepreneurship, it's going to take community and it's going to take resources. And I've created the community of pioneers who are going to wrap around you and help you make that transition successfully. So if you're interested in leaving your job, go ahead and click that information below. Let's get into the community and let's transition from your 9-to-5 into entrepreneurship successfully. Now let's get back to the episode.
When I wanted to go fishing, I couldn't afford the worm bait.
Okay. How old were you?
And how old were we at? 10, 9, 11, something like that.
I think you said 10.
10.
Okay, so you're 10 years old, you going fishing with your dad.
No. Me and my friends want to go fishing.
Without dad, you like, peace out, dad, I'm done.
Yeah, because we had a lake by our house.
Okay.
Now we got to figure out how do we go to the bait store and get the bait to go fishing. Because my mama, we had to stop using my mama bread
to bait these fishes.
Yeah, because we used to put the bread in the triangle, and then you put on the hook, and then you catch the fish.
Okay.
But what happens is, and that's the story in itself, because you may have the bait to catch the fish, but if your bait don't last long enough, the fish will not bite. So once you put the bread in the water, it's going to start getting soggy, and it's going to fall off the hook.
Right.
So you're not going to have the bait anymore.
You need something to be able to sit in the water as long as it can.
There you go. So that's why I use the same principles in my business. I need something to keep drawing the fish. And so
something that's sustainable.
So the long story short is, I had to figure out how the way to get the bait. So we just say, listen, let's go wash the car. So we go wash the car. We make $5 at the time. Car washes, what we getting paid at? $5, $10? $10 or $5 a car wash. And then, I said, if this is what we want to do, this is what we got to do. Right? And I was I was almost this close to being a drug dealer. This close. But the transaction didn't go through.
This close, that's the only reason.
That's the only reason.
What do you mean the transaction didn't go through?
Because the ounce of weed what we were supposed to get, I was little too, the ounce of weed we were supposed to get, it fell through. It fell through.
Okay.
And I could have been on a whole nother path in my life. But by that falling through, and I had the $250. I had the money, like, let's roll, let's go.
But the product.
No, I'm not a drug dealer.
It wasn't supposed to be?
No, I'm a preacher's kid. You get what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So you try to be good, but you try to come out and do something bad. It wasn't in me, but I saw the money.
Yeah. That's one of those situations where, you know, when they say God covers you, it wasn't supposed to happen.
I can't. I was gonna be hard. I probably been locked up right now.
Yeah.
But it didn't go right. I'm glad it didn't. And I'm just a good boy. That's how they look at me. You just a good boy, but don't test me.
Listen.
Don't test me.
And you've had what basically what you're sharing is that you've had your times of testing those limits.
Oh yeah.
So I'm trying to understand a little bit about where you grew up. Would you help me understand? So were in the country, you were by a lake, right?
In the country?
Yeah, I'm trying to understand. Were you a city boy?
Oh.
So where did you grow up?
I'm not in the country. I'm far from the country.
Where
I went to the country for summers.
So I'm saying, I'm like, okay, I'm trying to envision.
I was born and raised in Miami, Florida.
Okay.
Miami in the city, right down the street from Joe Robbie Stadium at the time. Now I don't know what it's, Hard Rock, whatever. But I'm from Miami, Florida.
Okay.
But I was raised, my roots, I used to go to Pahokee, Florida. That's by the muck.
Okay.
They call it a muck because the muck. And I went down there to get bullied, to get molded.
To get character.
Oh man. Because my cousin Papa, he was rough. He said, I'm taking you out of the corner to get you beat up. I said, why would you want to get me beat up?
Yeah.
But he was molding me on like, listen, this how you gotta, I don't know what kind of lessons he was trying to teach me, but my cousin Victor Atkins, my aunt, my cousin Connie, all those down in Melvin, all of them down there in Pahokee, they just had a life of this how we survived. You know, so I went to the city to get my quick thinking, but you get to the country to get that country.
Yeah.
Talk slower, boy. What you said? Because it's all about you got to learn how to deal with different people. So that's how I kind of got my molding for myself and my dad. Because when I say go fishing, that's where we went to go fishing. You know, Lake Okeechobee is that eye in Florida. You ever seen a map of Florida?
Yeah.
In the middle of Florida, at the bottom, it's a big lake.
Okay.
That's the Lake Okeechobee. That's the biggest lake in Florida.
So you grew up in the south?
Oh yeah, in the south.
Florida. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's why it feels like I'm sitting here with a country boy, but then some of your story sounds like city boy, and I'm like, who am I sitting there? Like, what is it? The makings of it. So I feel like we're adding a little bit of country. We got the country values.
That's the same thing about Rick Ross. He was born in the country, raised in the city. So yeah, he still got country values, but still the city life.
And that's actually that goes back to how I even found out about you.
That's right.
Right. So you were introduced as you organized the entire like an event that
the Boss Up Conference.
The Boss Up Conference.
Yes.
What's the Boss Up Conference?
The Boss Up Conference is a conference where we have high level entrepreneurs and CEOs that come into the house, and we link them with major corporations and celebrities, and learn about the celebrities' journey. A lot of these CEOs and entrepreneurs, they make $1 million a month. They make millions of dollars a year, but what happens is they reach a ceiling. So they need something to say, okay, what am I doing wrong? And also about networking. And we get in the room, we make power moves together. That's that big wolf pack I was telling you about.
Right.
Because I always say, if you want to be a millionaire, you got to hang around billionaires, right? So we put billionaires in the room at the conference to make sure these people are getting their value and their self-worth. Understanding about themselves. And out of the conference, the major thing that came out of it was mental health.
Really?
Yes.
Tell me more.
Learning how to deal with situations and deal with people. That was over and over. We had the Yelverton family. We had Brittany talking about mental health. It was everybody was dealing with mental health and going about it. Brittany was dealing with April. Mental health.
Yeah.
My aunt, it was talking about mental health, just getting to it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so that's what it's all about, because you can get the money, but if you can't maintain it and stay sane up here, you'll be able to lose it. So that's what the Boss Up Conference is all about, hosted by Rick Ross, because he's the biggest boss that you've seen thus far.
That's a fact.
And he is richer than he's ever been.
That's true. And he's actually making much more impact in the community than I actually realized before hearing about all the things that my mentor David Shands is doing, and then being a part of the Boss Up community, like the conference. All of those things are super impactful, which when you realize all the stuff that happens behind the scenes, you get even more invested in the story. So, and
that's how you actually saw me. Because when you saw me, it was a follow-up of the conference. So first of all, the conference is not a conference. You just go and people talk to you. It's interacting.
Mm-hmm.
So the people that's on stage, you can ask them questions. Hey, Britt Barrish, a billionaire that owns the official Bel Air.
Mm-hmm.
How do you handle this situation? They're asking them at the conference.
Okay.
They're getting information.
Straight from the horse's mouth.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So at the end of the day, what you seen, we was at a brunch. Because it's all about the follow-up. Mm-hmm. It's not about what you learned at the conference. It's all about the follow-up.
Right.
Are we doing what we said we was going to do? So we was at the brunch. Mm-hmm. And then, Dave, of course, he was we helped him with the podcast and know about the podcast. Mm-hmm. And Donnie was in attendance. So Donnie cut the camera on. You never put the camera on in front of an entrepreneur. It's like they say, you never give a preacher a mic and some fried chicken.
Listen. You're gonna run with it.
Yeah. You never put a camera on an entrepreneur because you have to leverage every situation.
Right.
Period. Mm-hmm. That's how me and you got this interview right now.
That's a fact. If I had never thought to just turn back around, just talk to you, then I don't know how.
Yeah.
I'm glad. I'm blessed I did. But you know what? I do believe you're a PK, so I feel like it resonates with you. I do believe every single thing that I do is led by God. Mm-hmm. I have my own value system, and I make my own moves as a human.
Right.
But then things that don't happen, they don't happen because they weren't supposed to happen. But then when things do happen, usually it's the effortless things that become beautiful.
That's it. Because it's all about the things in life that you don't pay for. You treat it like trash.
Yeah.
The things like you pay for, you value it. Mm-hmm. Your life was given to you for free. Your arms, your eyes, but people don't take care of themselves. Mm-hmm. But the things you go buy a car, a house. Guess what? You take care of that. You got insurance for that. Why don't you do it for yourself?
Yeah. Speaking of which, mental health was a huge thing that came out of the conference, right? And I'm curious about your journey. So you're a super powerful human. I can feel it, right?
You feel it?
I can feel it.
Ooh.
Yeah. Listen, I'm trying to tell you. Also, when it comes to your success, we do hear a lot of the drive, the discipline,
right.
Some of the things that we know that it takes to become successful.
Right.
Mental health is a huge thing for me.
Absolutely.
Right? Any course, any training, any lesson, people don't want to get the mindset. Mm-hmm. But for you, if you could help us understand, in your journey, when did you become aware that mental health was important to you in order to get to your next level?
When I failed.
Yeah, what did that look like?
When I didn't make the NFL.
Okay.
When the last pick of the draft was called and my name wasn't called. And I walked in the kitchen and I cried on my mama's shoulder. Because I feel like I failed in life. Because I worked so hard for that moment to get drafted. And I didn't get drafted. And I feel like I let myself down. But at that moment, I told myself, if you're not going to pick me, it's going to be the worst mistake you ever made. Because I'm going to make league minimum, whatever the lowest paid salary in the NFL, I will make that in business every year. And that's what I put in my mind. Because a lot of people don't realize what do they want in life. Did you want the fame of the NFL or did you want the money? Listen. I would have played in the NFL for free. That's how much I love the game. Mm-hmm. I would have paid for free. I would have played for free. And that's how much I love the game. But that's what some of the players do now. They have the mindset of playing for free, but they don't understand that this is a business. Mm-hmm. Right? So I'm on the other side of that now. Now I can hire different NFL celebrities to come to certain events and understand the business aspect of it. But to get to your question, the failure. Once I failed, then I said, you know what, I gotta move different. Nobody cares. Get your fat, lazy behind up, what we go by now. Nobody cares about your life. One thing about mental health, and once you realize in your mind that nobody cares, you gotta pick yourself up, that's when you're gonna turn around. Because two things gonna happen. Either you're gonna say, you know what, I'm tired of life, or I'm gonna change my life. Yeah.
Can I ask you a question though? What are you specifically calling a failure? Like not getting in, but what did you do to fail?
I didn't succeed at a predetermined goal.
You didn't succeed at a predetermined goal. And the goal was to go to the NFL. So when I think about your journey, you grew up passionate about football. What was it in your journey that you said, okay, this is what I need to do to be in the NFL. If we take it all the way back to when you're carrying shoulder pads for your brother and Rick Ross, How did you develop your passion in football?
Because Kansas City Chiefs, I saw that orange and black. And I seen those people in the stands talking, oh, and I said, man, they're cheering for them. I want that, and then I wanted to play for the same team my brother and Ross played for, and Fonzo played for. And my brother played in the band, and my cousin played for. But I couldn't because I didn't live in the district.
Okay.
So everything I wanted to do, my dad took me to the school and they said, Mr. Bostic, he can't play here because he don't stay here. And that's another thing. Now that I think back to it, I said, this is going to be the worst mistake y'all ever made. So I went to Miami Norland. When I went there, Coach Dunn, he brought our team from 9th grade to 12th grade. That's when he first came. I was a sophomore. And we ended up playing Kansas City for the state championship, to go to the state championship. I said, this is the worst thing y'all ever did. Because I went right back to that moment. Your failure is going to drive you to that next moment.
Yeah.
And that's what it was. But I said, listen, I'm going to tear y'all up. And that's what ended up happening. So I ended up playing my high school football, and we won the state championship 2002. But now that I think about it, when you say that, is that the things that I failed at, because I set goals in my life. Success, I learned this from Earl Nightingale. You ever heard of Earl Nightingale?
Yes.
Okay. He said success is achieving a predetermined goal. Mm-hmm. So once I set a goal and you're successful at it, you are successful.
Right.
A lot of people view success on what other people say that you are. You are successful because you have a good podcast. They will say that. Mm-hmm. But that doesn't make you a success. The success is I'm waking up every day. I'm going to set interviews. I'm going to go ahead and book people, and I'm going to have a successful interview.
Right.
So once that happens, you are successful. Mm-hmm. If you say you're going to wake up at 8 o'clock and do X, Y, Z, and you do that, you are successful. So that's what I say about failure. Now, failure, I'm not a failure in life. I just lost that battle. But I'm going to win the war overall.
Absolutely.
I don't change the goal. I just change the plan on how to get to the goal.
Absolutely. So you grew up with a passion for football. Mm-hmm. And it sounds like when you failed, right, you said, if I am going to make, as an entrepreneur, I'm going to make the lowest amount that you can make as a football player every single year.
Right.
That thought had to come from somewhere. So your dad planted the seed of entrepreneurship. Did you know what he was doing at the time was entrepreneurship?
No, I just was following him. I just knew that I knew that he wore suits and he had a lot of money in his pocket every day. Mm-hmm. When I go ask for lunch money, he had a wad of money. Not from being a pastor. He sold insurance, life insurance. And in life insurance back in the day, you had to go and collect the money from the draw. So what happens is we go door to door and collect the premiums, cash. Mm-hmm. So back in the day, it used to be these little pamphlets. Some people gonna say, yeah, he know what he talk about. Back in the day, it used to be these little pamphlets where older people, elderly people, they kept their life insurance policy.
Okay.
It's normally in the kitchen somewhere. So when the insurance man come, they knock on the door. A lot of people start running from insurance man because he know he coming to collect the money. If you don't get the premium, you don't have life insurance. One thing about elderly people, they always had life insurance, no matter what. Mm-hmm. So he used to go collect the premiums and say, hey, here's your policy. And so I used to watch him. And I used to watch his sales tactics. And he used to say, let me review your policy. And he said, okay, this is what it is. My dad became the #1 insurance agent of independent life insurance, the first African American to do that.
So you grew up you grew up learning how to build a business based on your dad
and sell.
And I was gonna say and sell.
Oh, sell. Oh, yeah.
That's a high value skill set that I'm actually learning is one of those things that will always keep you financially secure as long as you know how to sell anything. Sell yourself, sell a product, sell a service.
And don't be scared of the word no.
Facts.
I don't care. They slam the door, some people slam the phone in your face. I had the door slam in my face. I used to sell AT&T products. I used to go door to door.
Really?
Yeah, selling AT&T packages. And I had to do something different.
What was that?
I had went to my cousin and she worked for AT&T. And I was actually working for a third party that was a salesman of AT&T. They didn't directly work for AT&T, but I was like a third party to that. So I went to my cousin Jackie. She's a little person. And I asked her, I don't know what I did. I said, Jackie, can I have one of your work shirts? She gave me her work shirt that said AT&T on it. So when I went to the door, they saw AT&T.
AT&T representative, yes.
That's not fraud by deception, y'all. Just follow me. So
I'm listening.
So I just had to do something different. Why I keep getting the doors? Because I got on regular clothes trying to sell AT&T packages.
Right.
Once I put on that shirt, I started making sales.
Start looking the part.
I started looking the part. And so I get back to the point is the word no. So I got tired of the door slamming my face, but I had to switch up how I did things.
Right. So it wasn't that you were gonna bolster through a whole bunch of no's. You said, okay, what am I learning from these no's, and how can I change my strategy? I got you. So you're learning sales. Now, have you always been an entrepreneur, or did you ever have a 9-to-5?
Always.
Always.
I was selling chips and juices in high school. Oh yeah. I used to watch Drumline every night.
Why Drumline? What'd you get from that?
Because when I sold chips and juices, I had a routine. I go to Sam's, I go get my box of chips, I go get my hot sausages, I go get my pickles and my pickle eggs, and I would get my Ziploc bags. So I used to watch Drumline every night, and I used to bag my hot sausages up and my pickle eggs. So I needed something to get through the day.
Listen, I'm doing what I need to do. Just mindlessly watching the show.
That's it.
But when you say pickle eggs real quick, I'm like, that's what gets me confused. Because I be like, who eating pickle eggs in the city? Pickle pig legs. That's what I'm thinking.
No.
What you talking about? Pickle
what? Where you from?
Pickle. So my mom and grandpa used to eat pickle pig feet when I was in Niagara Falls, New York.
I had pig feet as well.
Okay, pickle pig feet.
Yeah, that's
so. What's a pickle pig? What's a pickle leg?
Dang, so if you don't know what a pickle egg.
Oh, pickled egg.
Yes.
I never ate those.
You never had a pickle egg?
I ate a pig feet before I ate pig.
Oh, I gotta get we gotta get you a Dade County pickle egg. It's pink.
It's pink.
Ooh.
Yeah, I've seen those in the little pack. No, in the big jar. So you were taking it and you were putting
Big John.
I've seen those things.
We gotta get you a pickle egg. Yeah.
I'll try it.
This is what we gotta do.
Yeah.
All right, I don't eat it no more, but you get you a pickle egg, hot sausage, and some hot Cheetos, and you crush it up and you put it together. Ooh.
Yeah.
What a time.
You don't eat it no more. I'm vegan.
Vegan?
So I believe it's a time. I left pig feet. I left pickle pig feet, pickle eggs.
But yeah, doing that, I was a entrepreneur. I made more than teachers a day.
Back when you were in school?
Selling chips and juice. Okay. I'm the reason right now that kids can't sell. And I put the vending machine out of business in school. Me and a group of my partners, we did.
Man.
And you know what I did too? I duplicated myself.
By getting your friends out there?
No, I gave them a bag too. So because if I work this side of the hallway to the classroom, you going to get that wing. And then we going to bust down.
You had the whole operation.
Oh, yeah.
Now, at the time, were your teachers ever aware of your operation?
My teachers were buying.
Really?
Yes, everybody's hungry.
So you just found a need.
Yeah, but I never sold to my teachers. I gave it to them. You gotta set the play up. You gotta get them something so they can sell inside the classroom.
Hey.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to make.
And then I had a friend, Omar. I think I had a friend, Omar. Right? We had one teacher we couldn't sell at, Miss Dexter.
Okay.
And we knew we couldn't sell in that class, but he is so evil that he bought something from me, and don't laugh. He bought something from me. And he goes in the bag and just to get me in trouble.
She's like, excuse me.
There you go.
And Mr. Dexter said, okay, no, Mrs. Dexter. Okay, so listen, I guess you learned how to watch out for the people who really there for you.
He's still my friend, though. He was just being funny. He's just a jokester. He was on my team.
So how did you? So okay, you're a funny guy, right? You seem super serious.
Right.
But you also have this like jovial spirit about you, right?
I haven't sensed that yet. I don't know.
You haven't sensed what? The jovial spirit?
I'm not a funny guy.
You are a lighthearted person. Absolutely. You might not be chuckle funny, okay. But lighthearted, especially as this person is still your friend, right?
Right.
How did you start to develop like your values around relationships and who you were going to keep with you, who you weren't going to keep with you? Or do you feel like you were just blessed to have good people to stay around you this whole time?
I think I had good people that stayed around me. A lot of people, people they're gonna weed themselves from around you. They're not gonna want to be around you because they're not gonna do what you do. Once you don't waver in your beliefs and what you are, those people gonna come around you. But if you keep playing both sides of the fence, that's why you keep getting these different people around you. This is what I am. This is what I do. And so I keep those people around me. Everybody around me, they gonna eat. Period.
Yeah. So I'm making the connection between where you were, you had your passion for football, right? You decided, hey, I'm gonna be an entrepreneur. What brought you from being an entrepreneur back in Miami to what you're doing today with the Boss Up conference?
I had my tax guy. His name was Jerome Chavis. He sat me down one day, and you got to have certain people around you: good tax guy, good lawyer, good insurance guy. And so Jerome, he sat me down and he said, Alex, you're making money. He said, but you know when entrepreneurs make money, they don't want to pay taxes, right? They always try to tax defer and do all this. And he says, you got to make a decision. Do you want to be a hustler or a CEO? A hustler go keep doing what they doing, hiding. But a CEO, you got to show you made money in order for people to give you real money and respect you. It's no sense to make $1 million and you got a loss of $100,000. You're a bad businessman. And that's what he showed me on paper. He sat me down and said, this will not work.
Okay.
If you want to be a hustler, Alex, do what you do. But you need to become a businessman. And so that's why it flipped in my head to say, I got to start doing things differently.
Okay.
And so I got to start being more serious about my business and operating as a business person.
What was your business at that time?
I have 4.
Okay.
I have a pallet company. My partner David Folston, Tabitha. I have a pallet company, a trucking company. I sell insoles for your feet.
Okay.
I have a CBD farm. My partner Joe. What else? And I had security.
Okay.
I was the type of person that create businesses, but I put people in place to help me run them. Cause I gotta go to the next thing. Cause I got 6 kids. Each kid need to have a business, and that's how I kind of always looked at.
Which one did you start first?
The first business was I was driving vans with my partner David Folston. He used to drive to the synagogue, and I see him in this van, and I was working at All in One Security. Shouts out to Miss Parker, Clarence, and everybody else, and Rick, Jenny, all of them. And I said, "What you do?" He said, "I got a van. I do courier service." I said, "How much do you make?" He said, "I make between $700, $1,000, $1,200 a week." I was making that every 2 weeks.
Okay.
I said, "I'm gonna quit my job." I said, "There's no way. If you making that a week, I'm gonna take you on your word." I went and bought a van. I got in an accident in my wife's car. We had a choice: buy another car or buy a van. We bought the van. And then that's how I started getting into the pallets. But my pallet company has been the most lucrative company that I have.
So if it's the most lucrative company, what was it? Passion that drove you to build your other 4, or was it simply once you had another kid, you started another business?
No, it wasn't about the kids, because I didn't have the kids at the time.
Got it.
It was about the money. I ain't afraid to say it was about the money. If I find a niche that makes me the money, I'm passionate about it. Because it's providing me and giving me things what I want. You follow what I'm saying?
I'm following.
So when you say, what is your heart? My heart is what I do on Saturdays. That's my heart, right?
Yeah.
But when I deal with things like security, that's my thing.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Like, I'm that person.
So when he told you, hey, do you want to be a CEO or a hustler? And you said that's when something switched. You went, right. So at that point, you started these businesses because of the money, right? You weren't necessarily thinking about the checks and balances of taxes and things like that. So what was it, or what were some of the things that you changed, or what were you doing wrong in your business that you specifically had to change from that point on? You
start using this money to pay for this money to pay for that.
That's what you were doing before.
Yeah, because you got to, as an entrepreneur, you got to be able to make things happen. It's not all about, okay, I need to do this, I need to have that business. And I was all over the place trying to run all these different businesses, right? You got to get separate accounts.
Got it.
And within those accounts, you got to have an operating budget, and you got to have an expense budget. You got to have, different things, payroll. So it's a whole breakdown on what you need. You got to have somebody to watch it. I said, I got to pay somebody to do that. Yes. You either going to do it or you going to pay somebody to do it.
Yeah.
So I had to start paying people to do things at what they were good at. I had to get out of the way of myself. I was in the way of my own self because trying to do everything.
Yeah.
But I had to sit back and let, my businesses work, and that's what I did.
You talked about duplicating yourself earlier, right? So this sounds like a duplication of yourself, right?
Absolutely.
When it comes to you being an entrepreneur, and how old were you at this time?
31.
Okay, 31, 4 businesses. And you're at the point where you have to decide whether I'm going to be a CEO or a hustler.
Right.
What was it in yourself that you had to get out of your own way in order to learn how to like delegate or find somebody to do this stuff for you?
To realize I'm not the best at what I do in that subject.
You make it sound so easy.
Yeah, I'm not the best accountant, finance person. I don't know law. Let me pay somebody to do that. Let me be good at what I do. That's one thing that Ross teach me.
Yeah.
If he don't know how to do it, he say, boy, I don't know how to do that. You better call, boom, and we get it done. He don't take it to where, if he don't know how to do something, I don't know how to do that, bro. But what he know how to do, he's very good at it.
I got you.
And
what would you say is the biggest loss that you took before you learned that lesson?
The biggest loss I took before I learned that lesson, when you lose 20 grand in a day, when you lose your whole business, when you got partners got to file for bankruptcy because of bad decisions, when you see things around you, you gotta figure out where you're gonna pay your rent or pay this truck note because I'm operating wrong. I'm operating as a hustler, not a businessman. I need to be planning 3 years ahead of time. Right?
Absolutely.
When you have an American Express credit card and they tell you can't do it no more because a decision that was made, right? I had a truck driver die on my shift. He died in one of my trucks. Died, gone. As an owner, the family is looking to you. Hey, did he have life insurance? I said, whoa. Can you help us pay for the funeral? I said, whoa. I said, dang, I ain't even got benefits for my people. So I got to say, man, let me get ahead of this. Tragedy and situations and failures, and I told you before, those are things that get me, I got to be smart at what I do. I need to have fail safes. I need to have extra insurance on trucks in case that happen. I need to make everybody get occupational hazardous insurance. Workman's comp. Because it shouldn't hit my pockets.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? So those are the things that kind of help me.
Learning how these are like life hits, right? People truly being affected, because I can imagine someone's livelihood being affected with each and every one of those decisions that you just said fell through.
Oh man. Woof. Yeah.
Absolutely. So when I think about like new entrepreneurs who want to go out there and start a business, do you suggest them like hiring people up front, or do you suggest, when you tell people like starting out the gate, whether it's a van company, a pallet company, any one of those things, what are some of the first things that you help them understand how to build in order to make it successful, so they don't end up getting those like dire situations?
They need to do it.
They need to do it first
themselves. You need to be the first point to do anything, because when you know how to do everything in your operation, you can teach everybody what to do. The first thing you do, you want to hire people and you don't even know what to do. You tell them you go in there and changing goals and changing stuff, they're like, and people not gonna read your mind. What do you want me to do? You don't know how to lead. You feel what I'm saying? Good followers become leaders. Were you a good employee?
Goes back to that.
If you really serious at what you're doing, take your vacation time and you work that whole time. If you're working for somebody, go on vacation and you do your job for that week and see how you do.
Test run.
Take your Christmas vacation, your Thanksgiving vacation, and you go work and do the test runs. If it's not working, it may not work, but you're gonna start learning something. The best thing you're gonna learn is this for you. You get out there and driving trucks because you see people making money and you ain't no truck driver. Get your behind back in that office, man.
That's a fact. Until you figure out what it is that you're gonna be able to do.
You're not no truck driver, man. I done told several people that. Well, you ain't no truck driver. Stop it. You just want to chase the bag.
Facts.
You're not the truck driver. Because you're going to get out there and hurt somebody and hurt yourself.
Yeah.
That's not what you want to do.
No. I'm curious what you think about this. So people want to leave their job, right? Mm-hmm. And I think that test trial is actually a really good gauge to see if this life is really for you. A lot of people say entrepreneurship is not for everybody, mm-hmm. but I do believe, hey, you do a test run 2 or 3 or 4 mm-hmm. times, you'll find what works for you. Mm-hmm. The challenge that I find for people who want to leave corporate mm-hmm. and go into entrepreneurship mm-hmm. is people who are so used to living in a system mm-hmm. and don't know how to create a system on their own. Mm-hmm. You seem to have created a system on your own.
Yeah.
Between having your own employees, mm-hmm. knowing how to delegate, duplicating yourself, mm-hmm. failing. So what's the challenge for you living in a world where everything's so systematic? Right. You work with corporations. You used to have a job.
Right.
How do you balance or how do you create your own ecosystem around right. you so that you don't feel like you're like a pawn?
I don't care. I tried. We gonna try it. It may not work. I'm gonna try it again. I'm gonna try something different. Period. I may fail, but I'm not a failure. You follow what I'm saying?
I'm following.
I'm gonna try. If you work, listen. What you need to do, just give me what you want to do. Just give me anything what people want to do in life. What you think? They may have their own business. Just say anything.
Somebody want to start a hair company.
A hair company, mm-hmm. right? You need to go work at a hair company. Mm-hmm. Start getting in the industry on what you want to do. Because you need to learn the blueprint. Policy procedures, the menu. Because when you start your own, it's an easy transition. Mm-hmm. Or you getting paid to learn. And you realize it's just for you. It's better for you not to work at that the CEO type job and working something that you want to learn how to do to get the platform to do, or work there part time, mm-hmm. or donate your time.
Yeah.
If you're working in the CEO, when you get off, you need to go interning at Rich Hair Care Products at Rick Ross. You need to go intern at Bronner Brothers, the oil company.
Yes. You
wasting your time. You getting off work. Go intern, learn it. That's what you got to do. That's when you really find out.
Yes.
Right? My son called it sweat quitting.
Ooh, I like that.
You know those 2 words, right?
Sweat equity.
Now my son
I love
made that term. He made that term. Sweat quitting.
I love it.
You put in the sweat to gain equity later on.
Facts.
You don't have to get paid all the time.
Yeah.
So you can do that and just work your way in what you want to do. Why go start on something on your own when you have no idea what it is? Once you get hit in the head, you're going to be one of the people that started business within a year and failed. But if you took your vacation time, your lunch breaks, you'd have 3-4 years of doing that and saying, I can do this.
Yes.
You take that summer and I can do this.
Right. You'll have the confidence you need, and you'll have the sweat equity, mm-hmm. as well as you've proven your concept, so you mm-hmm. know what it is that you're going out into the entrepreneurship.
And start the business ASAP.
Yeah.
Go get the incorporation right now. Don't wait.
Mm-hmm.
Get the EIN number right now, and then your savings when you pitch out $200, pay your company.
Now, when you say get your corporation right now, let's say someone's starting an exit strategy from their job mm-hmm. 3 years before they leave, right? Mm-hmm. And well, who knows if it's going to be 3 years, but they take their first set of vacation mm-hmm. and it's trucking and they don't like it, right? Mm-hmm. And then they try the hair business, they try that, they don't like it. And they do maybe one more business with another set of vacation, they don't like it. Mm-hmm. Are you saying start your corporation early and just kind of shift as you do these different things?
You need to go on Georgia Incorporations and go lock down the name.
And whatever that name is, it can follow you throughout those different businesses?
Yeah, because what's going to happen is when somebody asks you, what do you do? Mm-hmm. You say, I work here, but I have a trucking company. It doesn't say you're driving trucks. It just say, I got a trucking company. And you know what they're going to say? They're going to say, man, I've been looking for a trucking company. You got trucks? Yeah, I got trucks. And I remember, listen to what I said. You have a company, you have a trucking company. Do you own trucks?
You said I have trucks.
Right. Do you own trucks?
No.
Do you have trucks?
Yes.
How?
Through the resource, through who I...
Go rent them.
Okay.
Go rent them. If you want to try a traffic control business, go rent it. If you got a event space, you go rent that space. Mm-hmm. People think I need to have and own it. No, just go rent it. Mm-hmm. And so when they say, I got a trucking job, you go rent it, Now, guess what? Your preparation met the opportunity and you're ready for it.
Ready for it.
But if you never started a trucking company and they say, let me get your MC number or whatever, or even, and there's other ways around that too, but I can't give you all the game right here because, I got to get paid in other ways. But
people need to know this stuff.
No, they need to know. They need to pay for it.
That's a fact. And speaking of which, I work with corporate professionals who want to transition to entrepreneurship. Mm-hmm. They get free information all the time. A lot of times I say you need to leverage that information that you get for free right now, because when you come into entrepreneurship, you don't get that information for free.
Absolutely not.
What are some of the investments you made that you feel like truly leveled yourself up in business as an entrepreneur? Some like hefty investments. What were those? And what did you learn?
I buy what my client needs. Mm-hmm. I get in business things what my client needs. I done spent, what'd you say, 100 grand an hour, 50 grand an hour? Yeah. I see opportunity and I say, boom, let's get it. Boom, let's do it. Hey, let's do it. Mm-hmm. So, because you only gonna show if you're a genius when that thing works. If it don't work, you're a failure. Yes. Right? Or you failed. Right. You get what I'm saying? So I always jump ahead of it. I jump ahead of it and I go get it. So a lot of times that's what you have to do in business and entrepreneurship. Right. You gotta jump ahead of it. And so yes, I invest a lot in learning, going to courses, masterminds. Mm-hmm. You get what I'm saying? So
when was the first one you did as a young entrepreneur? The first investment that you remember being scared to invest your money. I'm telling you, the first time I ever invested $1,600.
Oh man, me and this guy right here, me and Anthony, going to Northern Tools and buying a pressure washer, a tank, hoses. I'm like, bruh, we made a trailer. And you remember that? We made a trailer for our car wash business, and we carried it on the back of my daddy's van.
For your car washing business?
Yes. We had a car washing business in Miami.
How much was the investment?
The investment was probably like $500-$600.
Got it. But at the time,
but we only made like $5-$10 a car wash. But you know what? I learned business because I borrowed some of the money from my daddy, but I never paid my daddy back because he wasn't making no money. Because by the time we factored our gas and we went to the store and ate, we really ain't make nothing.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying? But I guess my dad seen I was trying. Yes. He said, just go, just do. But when I think about it, I said, well, we wasn't making no money.
He had to do that so you can build the muscle.
Yeah. And then we got with a hustler, Harold, his cousin, a hustler. He was a hustler, man. He's a Dade County hustler. He the one to just get out and talk trash and ain't gonna wash the car. Hey, over here. Bring the car. We washing all day, and we the ones washing.
But you got the business.
Right, because he taught us, like, listen, you got to go get it. You got to go. I got my van. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to set up out here. And one thing I learned about Harold is he didn't mind people laughing at him. He didn't mind the people thinking that he's a joke. Because you could think I'm a joke, but I'm making the money. Right? And so that's what I seen. I said, dang. So no matter what people picking on you, they think that things are not working in your life, but they're going to be the joke at the end. And so when I seen that, I said, I got it. I learned everything at every point of my life, right? And that's what I learned.
That's dope. When you say that, I think about a lot of motivational speakers, especially the ones who've been told no. Right. Or the ones who've been told you too stupid, right? You can't do it. What's your relationship with people telling you you can't do it, or people telling you you can do something, or believing in you?
It's motivation. I mean, I can't.
Either way, but I'm saying, like, in your story, because in my story, sometimes I don't necessarily, actually there have been times when people tell me no, right? In your story, growing up as you're trying to make something of yourself, did you find, not in sales, but more so as a person, people telling you, oh, you're going to be great? Right. Or people saying, hey, you might want to second guess that.
I remember one of my friend's grandfather, he told me, he gave me some good advice too. But you got to think about it. Don't take all advice as negative. Just learn from it, right? I told him what I wanted to do. He said, boy, you don't know nothing about that, boy. You don't know nothing. You need to get under somebody and learn. I'm like, dang, I'm a young man trying to do something good. Why did he knock me down? But what he was telling me was, Just find somebody that know what they're doing in that field and let them coach you, right? And so another time was when I was training to go to college and I was waiting for a scholarship. And there was an administrator, his name was Stephen Cohen, Mr. Cohen. And I was working out. And he told me on the field, he said, Bostic, it's a lot of people on this team, but you are going to be successful in something other than football. And I took that, I said, man, nah, I'm going to be a football player. But I don't know what he saw, but he told me that. He said, you're going to be successful in something other than football. Don't worry about this. But it stayed with me, and that helped me throughout life. Because every time that football knocked me down, bro, you're going to be something successful other than football. You're going to be successful other than football. Boom, it just kept resonating. And then when it finally clicked, when I wasn't chosen, why did I get in the industry that I got to be picked to be successful in?
Yeah.
That was a bad business model anyway. Because you determine my success if I'm good, if I'm going to stay on the team, or if I'm not. As a child, I didn't realize that. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I did that, the nonprofit I showed you. That's why I created stuff like that to get people out of the cycle. People in the NFL, their hardest time is being out of the NFL and not having the fame no more. Because they don't know how to cope.
Right. Because they don't have those success measures, like you said.
Yeah.
At the point where they get into the NFL, they've made it all the way through the checkpoint without deciding what does success look like for me. They don't set those predetermined goals.
Right.
What happened for you is you got the no, and you said, okay, I didn't get that predetermined goal, so how do I restructure my situation? And then because your mentor planted that seed, you're going to be successful in something else.
There you go. One of our best friends, he made it to the NFL. Antoine Barnes, he made it to the league. And that day he got drafted, I said, man, go do what you got to do. And I didn't. I said, you go do what you got to do. I'll meet you on the other side.
Facts.
And do you not know, when he retired from the NFL, my business was successful. Now he got money to invest, and now we finna 10x what we got.
Yeah.
Just do what you got to do. You hustle and grind. Let me do what I got to do, and we're going to meet at the end. And that's what it's about.
Yeah. Speaking of which, you mentioned your nonprofit. I'm such a huge proponent of social entrepreneurship, right? Hearing about you building a program to help young people get out of that brainwashing of like just get to the NFL and you'll be successful. What was your thought process behind building a nonprofit to help young people build life skills as opposed to just get to the NFL?
Me not making it.
You built that after you got to know about the NFL?
After college, when I didn't get drafted.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so what was the process? You were just sitting down and you're like, hey,
I said I gotta do something.
Okay.
You know what it was? My degree was in sport management.
Okay.
And nobody was hiring. So I said I need to build my own resume. I need to do stuff for free and put it on film. That's why I showed you. So when I go to these people, I say, hey, look, this is my resume. This is what I bring to the table. So when they hire me, they're not hiring somebody that they got to teach a mold. They hiring somebody that already has a vision and can help them move their business. Dwayne Bowe, one thing about me, if you put me in a room, I'm finna work that room. Dwayne Bowe, he was a wide receiver for the Kansas City Chiefs, right? They had a sports camp and they had this company, and he brought me in the room. He sat me down with one of the owners of the room. The owner said, hey, listen, can we bring you on? You work for our company. Dwayne told me, he said, Alex, come work for me. I'll move your whole church at the time to wherever we go, because I need you. I said, nah, man, I can't do that. And then I realized, I said, you know what? You got the vision, you got the passion that people don't got. They don't see it, right? And so I said, you know what? Dang, this man really, he want to move my whole family. This is my high school teammate now. And this company who was sponsoring him wanted to hire me. So I said, what are you doing? You need to use that and you need to maximize that. You need to leverage the room. So yes, I created that nonprofit, but there was not an opportunity of people wanting to hire me. So I had to make that and I had to build my resume. Like, you want to be in social
Well, social entrepreneurship.
Right.
Yeah.
You're building that resume right now.
Facts.
Because you're interviewing me on that.
Absolutely.
So when people say, look, check out this episode.
Absolutely.
Check out this episode. This is what I did. Oh, shoot. You're doing this? Let me do this. It's all about leverage and getting what you understand what you want. A lot of people don't understand what they want. I was on live this morning and somebody asked me like, what do you think? How do I do this? I said, just stop. What do you want?
Yeah.
Is it the money? Is it the fame? Do you want a successful business? Mm-hmm. Figure out what that is and write that down and then go from there.
Okay. Can we talk a little bit about being like, so you're a man, you're a wolf, you're a man, and you got your wolf at home raising the kids, right? Mm-hmm. As a female wolf, right? Knowing what I want, and this is also for the women who watch this show, right?
Please don't. I hope you're not going on. Thank you. Girl.
I don't know where we're going. Hey, I saw one of your lives. And you actually were talking about being the man that you needed to be in your relationship, so that these other men out here. Well, so anybody, if you ever were to pass away, they were gonna have to stand up to the standard.
Oh yeah, he can't stay in my house.
Right. So as long as women are single, and this is not a relationship question. It's more of a young entrepreneur question, and it's a question about knowing what you want.
Okay.
You got women out here who know what they want in business, but they also want to be in a relationship.
Yeah.
They want to find a wolf. They also want to be in a relationship with a wolf.
Right.
What's the strategy, right, to like find a wolf, right? What are wolves looking for when it comes to
what a female is looking for in men?
No, what is a male wolf
looking for in a female?
and a female wolf?
Everybody's different, right? You asking me that question, I'm gonna give you my answer.
All right.
I want somebody that's a nurturer.
Hey y'all, let me tell you about my friends at Run the World Clothing. Run the World is a community empowerment brand that chooses to educate on Black history, Black culture, and Black radical thought through apparel and experiences. Run the World is a vessel to celebrate the Black experience for our Black people and our allies. And I have on one of their latest pieces from this season's collection. So if you haven't seen Run the World Vic's episode on the Work and Play podcast, go check it out or go to their website to check out some of their apparel. Now let's get back to the episode.
Right. Somebody that's a nurturer and still have a drive, right? My wife, she wanted to be a nurse in college. And she had a drive to do something. I saw that in her. And she was the oldest of 8 brothers and sisters. So I seen she was a nurturer. And I saw her mom and I saw her grandmother. They're beautiful women. So I say, if she gets old, she's gonna look like that. So you gotta think, right? Kings are strategic on who they marry or who they're around, right? Then I seen that she don't like to hang around people. Then I realized she did not want me to make it to the NFL. Because she said, if you made it to the NFL, you're gonna forget me. That's what her mindset was. So there's certain characteristics that I see that's a nurturer. You could be a provider, but at the end of the day, I already knew in my mind that my wife was not gonna work.
Okay.
My wife has never worked a job a day in her life. Every once in a while, she'll get this feeling to say, I want to do something for myself, and she'll go do something home. And she'll get on the phone, do a little calls. But at the end of the day, you don't have to rely on that to survive. So to looking at that, it depends on that person. That's what I was looking for. You can have your own, but at the same time, you got to be able to be submissive and let the man lead. A lot of women don't want to let the man lead. But on the flip side of that, as a woman, you need to pick the right man that's showing you the characteristics of being a wolf. You don't need a sheep in wolf's clothing. It's backwards. You get what I'm saying? Because you got to realize, when the rubber meets the road, what we gonna do?
Yeah.
What we gonna eat?
Yeah.
I can't be eating. Oh yeah, I'm waiting on my corporate buddy to call, who's in my fraternity. He's gonna give me a job. Nigga, I'm also, I can't say that on camera.
It's all good.
I'm sorry. Nigga is a negus for kings, for emperors.
There we go.
So you swear that. So what? What if you don't get out there and go wash some cars, go cut some grass? They pride. You need to find a man with that characteristic, that dog in them, right? Well, not dog in the other sense, but still that grit. You know what I'm saying? So as a man, you want that woman that's going to be able to be that nurturer. Because when you have kids, what's going to happen? As business, and to be honest with you, I may lose a lot of people and you may lose a lot of viewers. But as men, as successful partners, we can't rely on daycare and our maids to raise our kids in schools. We lose the nurturing part that got you where you was at. Because you see the grind of your mother and your father,
right?
The struggle, and they try to push you, but they with you every day.
Yeah.
But as a CEO, what happens is you get so successful and make money, you push them off on society to raise. You can't do that.
Can't do that.
You got to spend time with your kids. You got to do this. You got to do that. But yes, those are qualities I look for. Call a virtuous woman.
I love it.
That get up when I need breakfast. Hey, baby, we gotta get some breakfast. I ain't trying to slave. Well, you trying to be alone the rest of your life.
Yeah, you coming with it. Hey, but I believe it. If you want to be a wolf, you want to find a wolf. Now, if you want to find a lion, that's a whole other thing. Lions.
Listen, lioness.
Yes.
Right, because you gotta think about a lioness, right? You know who do a lot of the hunting.
The lioness.
She get out and she go get it.
Yeah.
But in order for a king to take that pride, he got to show that he's going to protect them.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
And when somebody come in a miles of radius, you going to stand up, you going to do something.
Facts.
You can't jump up somebody breaking in the house like, hey, baby, go get your gun.
Right.
No, you got to be that person to jump in the front of them.
That's a fact.
So before lioness let a king come in the pride, she going to fight, she going to test them.
Yeah.
That's the dating process.
Yes.
Not mating or we in the bed. That's the, let me test you. Let me see what you're going to do in this situation. Because at the end of the day, if you're going to fold like a chair, I don't need you. And I tell my wife sometimes, I said, wait, what's up, baby? Where you at? Like you said, I need to look in your eye. Where you at? You know what we got to do? All right, baby, we with you. Let's roll.
Yeah.
Because I think we got to get these cubs out of this pride. We got to make them happen. Then we can do what we want to do at the end.
Absolutely. So, speaking of which, we have a lot of us women out here looking to find their criteria in a wolf, right? And taking it back to how I even became aware of you, it was the 15 minutes of you sharing how you got into becoming
Seconds.
15 seconds, right? Of you sharing how you became Rick Ross's head of security, right? So, if you would like help us understand the play, you gave 15 seconds of just like what it was.
What it was.
What was the play? Right? That you said you were going to run, because to add a little context, you've been in Atlanta since 2009.
Right.
How long have you been head of security?
Since about 2-3 years.
Okay. Got it. So as much as you can share about the play, right? When it comes to, like I said, what you shared was just keeping your values, but also knowing the play. So can you share just what was the play?
You know what's going to end up happening? Like, this could always be my pivotal moment in life. People always want to know. I get asked this all the time. But I mean, it's fine. Because people will say trust the process, but they never do it. So this was the play. The play was, I told you in my job that I worked security and I got fired. I started my own business and I got fired. So now that I'm out of the business, I can tell you what happened. I took my vacation time and I started my trucking company and my pallet company. So I already had something. And then once it started running, you know what I did? I resigned.
Okay.
So I resigned from my job, but they called me back. They wanted me to work. I said, oh, shoot. Okay. I came back to the company I left from, but mine got my business going. So what ended up happening was they ended up firing me.
Again?
No, I resigned the first time.
Got it.
They fired me the second time.
Got it.
Yeah. I was told I was too good. I said, what? But I realized that it was time for me to grow. So the day that I got fired is the day I started my security company. That's why I encourage people to start. Don't wait till you get fired. Don't wait till a recession comes. You need to start something. So I started my security company and I started waiting. But what happened was people started to call me because they knew their social media security and they liked the job that I did, right? So let's talk about some things I did while I was at that company. I helped create a security plan from the National Civil Human Rights Center downtown Atlanta. That's the Royal Coat.
Okay.
That's what I did there. I coordinated special events with Barack Obama and Michelle Obama when they came to spoke at Morehouse, and she spoke at Georgia on Camp Creek. I did that. The international airport, Hartsfield International Airport, I created a security plan and details for the international part of the airport in the parking deck. I did that while I was there. Not getting paid to do it, I did it. I created a whole map on how the parking deck looked from Excel spreadsheet. The parking deck used that to this day.
Really?
Yeah, because nobody ever laid out how to find a car. They always say you parked on 4B.
Yeah.
Where is 4B?
Right.
So I created an Excel spreadsheet. They only had one post on the wall. I took that and I created it.
So that people can figure out how to get to their car.
And every employee can have it. So they started to use that.
Okay.
So I was creating things. So so when people seen what I did after I left the company, they always say, where's Alex? Where's Bostic? He's going on, he got his own company. And so they started to call. So now I got that, not on, hey, let me work for you. I got that on the merits of my work. People started to call.
Okay.
Fast forward, that same company, Rick Ross' team called them. Say he called the attorney. The attorney called them, called one of his partners, and the company, one of my man Rick. I appreciate Rick because Rick, he's a humble guy and he's about his business. He said, we don't want to take on that or we don't want to do it, but I got somebody you can call. He called me. He said, Bostic, such and such is looking for security. He called Clarence. Clarence called me. So Clarence was my manager at All One. And Clarence we had a weird relationship. We good friends, but hate each other in business.
And he's the one was he the one who fired you the second time?
He was part of the reason.
Okay. Okay.
But we close friends right now.
Yeah.
And the owner of that company, we do business together. She actually spoke at the Boss Up conference.
Wow.
Miss Mary Parker.
And you said they said that you were too good. So now it all makes sense.
I mean, yeah. But she came and spoke. So when he called me, I told him, I said, you do know, I know him, right? I ain't want no conflict or saying, but I still had to get the contract.
Facts.
So I still had to get it. So what ended up happening was, Renee called me, his sister. She said, hey, I got your number from my attorney. We want you to go ahead and apply for the job and see if you get it. The bid process. So he said, you can do a walkthrough. Mind you, I went to his house before and I used to just stand in front of the gate. I said, man, just tell the security guard you know him, man. I said, I never did it. I just drove off every time. So it's something about that house and that gate. People drive by and they have visions because that's what he did. He stayed in the house around the corner. And he used to drive by that house all the time when Holyfield had it or the bank had it. Then he saw a red sign saying for sale. That's when he got it. What that house does is tells people that you can dream, you can go get it.
And it's in the perfect spot. Not to deviate, but it's in the perfect because it's on the south side.
Oh yeah.
I grew up in the south side.
Wow.
So when I drove around and the lights are just Christmas time, you just like it. Now it reminds me like you just know that like things are possible. A mansion right down the street from your house.
That looked like the White House at night.
Facts.
Yeah. And so that's why he named it. One of the reasons he named it the Promised Land. You get what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So what ended up happening was I did the whole process. I went to the house. I was dressed because I said, I'm going to meet Will. That was a good call. I'm finna meet him, man. Finally finna meet him. And he wasn't even there. I said, dang. I was with my partner, Tomcat. Tomcat took me around the property and showed me. And Clay, one of my other partners, security partners, he was with me as well. I'm doing a walkthrough, but this is what I do in my sleep. I can do a security assessment in my sleep like this. I tell you where your threats, your weaknesses are at all times, just like this. So, and I didn't meet him. And I turned in the proposal, but I didn't hear nothing back from her in 2 to 3 weeks. So in my mind, like, Alex, pull a card. Call them and tell them who you are.
Okay.
You're going to get the job. Because it's not about what you know, it's who you know.
Right.
But I said, no, I don't want to do business like that. Let me let it play out. And I totally forgot about it. I said, man, I didn't get it. And then she called me. She said, you got the job. I said, oh, man. I said, I appreciate it. And so I just want to let you know I've been in your family a long time. She said, what? She said, what? I said, I've been in your family. She's like, what are you talking about? I said, this is Alex Bostic. She said, what? Alex? What? She hung up the phone in my face. She hung up the phone. She called her mom. Because I told you I was a PK.
Yeah.
My dad pastored her mom in Miami. Right? And my brother played football with, and she called Will. Both of them was like, why you just didn't tell us? I said, I did not want to get the job on who I know. I wanted to earn my way.
Yeah.
Right? And so that's how I ended up getting the job. Then after that, the business mindset on what I got and ideas, that's how we started to develop and saying, look, these are things we can do to help people. Because entrepreneurs, so by being security, right? One thing I told you what to do. Remember I gave you the scenario on what do you want to do?
Yes.
You say hair care products.
Right.
I said go work for them. Right? Security is a business that you get access to stuff that people can't get access to.
True.
So I'm behind the scenes. I'm learning everything. So being behind the scenes security, when I go out, I'm with him doing photo shoots and I'm watching. Hey man, whatever we can do to help, how you can help us. So I follow up like, this is what you can do. We having a conference, you can help us out, because we get them to the entrepreneurs, we get the entrepreneurs to them. That's what the Bostic conference is about, putting people in the room. Because they need help too. They're trying to reach more people.
Absolutely.
How do we do it? They have mastered it because that's their environment.
Got it.
So if they have mastered it, you're trying to reach it, and they're trying to master what you got to leverage to a broader balance. All they need is a room to come meet at.
Right.
And celebrities, they don't know who to trust to give money to invest or somebody they're going to work for.
Right.
So we create the room for everybody to win.
And it levels the playing field.
And we cut all the faults, the fraud out of the room.
So you are learning, you're learning behind the scenes. So you're already really good at security. You're learning behind the scenes how to move in these spaces.
Oh yeah.
And then you identify an area of need, like, hey, we need to level the playing field for entrepreneurs and celebrities and corporations.
Oh yeah.
So at what point did the relationship start to change? You said you knew what you knew in security, and then you started to talk about business ideas. So at what point did you say, okay, well, we're gonna change this relationship from me just being security to me being business?
Me trying to get outside my realm. You seen this house? You seen that fountain in front of his house? Right. That fountain was having issues and troubles.
Okay.
And I told him, I can get that fountain working for you. He said, do it. He said, how much is it gonna be? So I'm rounding up people. And there was a guy, he sat outside the gate. He said, man, everybody you meet, they always worked on at the house. Yeah, man, I used to do this. I used to do that. I used to do this. Yeah, man, I put in the piping system. They always did something at the house. I used to work for Holyfield. I did whatever. So what ended up happening was, I said I can get that fountain working. And I put it out my mouth. He said, how much is it? And I told him how much it was, because that's exact. Whatever the amount is, I don't put nothing on. That's what it is. That's why you're doing business. You don't put no extra on it. You tell people what the play is. If they want to give you extra, that's on them. You get what I'm saying? If this your partner, you don't put no extra on it. You tell them to play, and you see how things work out. So I told him the amount. The project was taking long. COVID was in effect.
Okay.
Parts weren't coming in. He don't want to hear no excuses. Why the fountain ain't working? He called me one day. He said, you tell them I want all my money back. I said, all the money is into the thing. So in my mind, I'm like, dang, I'm gonna have to come up with the money to fix the fountain. You get what I'm saying? And so I'm saying like, dang man, this thing, I was doing a good deed. And Miss Esther Hammond, she told me, no good deed. She was my HR person at FIU that's the college I went to at All in One.
Okay.
And she was also one of my mentors. She was the HR person at Delta Airlines. So she ran it. So she used to tell me the ins and out. One thing I remember her saying, no good deed goes unpunished.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means. I didn't know what it means.
Until
I still don't know what it means, but I know what the scenarios mean. I'm always in it.
Okay.
When you do a good deed, it seems like something always bad to go in it. You know, I said, see, no good deed goes unpunished.
Yeah.
So what ended up happening was, I said, I was doing a good deed trying to get the fountain working. Now it's not working out. Now I'm back in the hole. I said, nah, bro, we ain't finna do this. So I said, I found other ways to make things happen. And so sometimes you may see the fountain posted up on his story. He is short running. And in my mind, and I'm gonna show you what I'm talking about after the interview. In my mind, that is success. Cause I see it, and every time it's working, every movie see, every video that come, they say, hey, we need a fountain on. So that's why that fountain is like, that's my baby.
So I got two questions then. One, how did you get the fountain to work? And then two, what was the idea that you came up with to get the money that you owed back?
No, I just got on them and I said expedite the process. And I brought in an expert to get things faster.
Okay.
It wasn't the fact that the fountain wasn't working. It was the fact of the lights inside of the fountain. It was hard to make because COVID. You can't explain that to a billionaire. You can't explain that. I need it working. All they know is on, off.
You needed to get it on.
That mean. It's like clap on. The lights on or off.
Okay.
This either working or it's not. This need to be moved or it's not. So getting in this kind of industry, you don't want to be in this industry. People say, I want to work. I say, no, you don't. This is a shark industry. You get ate up in this industry. But in it, I think I'm learning. You can't say I'm learning. You got to keep going.
Yeah.
And Renee, she's a shark. His sister, oh man, she's a woo. If something go wrong, say, boy, you gotta call Mississippi. I gotta make that call. And listen,
you don't want to call her.
But I'm learning. If you want to be successful, you can't be afraid of it. You gotta attack it. And when you wrong, say, I messed up.
Right. But you didn't have necessarily the time to say I messed up, so you had to expedite the process. No excuses.
Yeah, because this is what you're gonna be known for. Are you gonna be known for a person of excuses and messing up? Or you gonna be known for a person that get things done?
So once you got it done, is that when he was open to you proposing?
Not open. It's just that he started giving me tasks, and they started being
completed. Because you were able to make it work. Right. It came to a place where he was like, "Hey, what's going on? Right. I want my money back." You said, "No, I'll make it work."
Right.
You expedited the process. Right. He saw you come through,
make it happen,
and he started to trust you in other ways.
Right. That's a gift and a curse.
Because now you're gonna be doing the whole.
Call Alex.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Other people start to, hey, Alex, can you do this?
Yeah.
So that's why I created a website, everythingbostic.com. Because if I can do everything, I connect people.
Yeah.
So that's what the conference is all about. I connect people.
Wow.
So when David say, hey, Alex, what about this? Do. All right, cool. I'm gonna make it happen. Hey, Marcus call. Hit 500. Hey, Alex, Trap call. Hey, what's up with this? April Mason call. My aunt call.
Yeah.
So that's what I do. I create that room.
Yeah.
I create that Rolodex for what you need. I go get it.
Wow.
And if I can't find it, I'm gonna give you somebody that can.
Yeah.
That's what I take pride in. That's my passion. Helping people when they need something. People with money, it's not about, money can buy things, but if you can't make that phone call access, right? The biggest thing we deal with is gatekeepers. Sometimes you got gatekeepers that don't let you in and make things happen, man. These gatekeepers are very cruel. But I say, listen, let's do the whole movement. Hippie Town, whatever they need. LS Millie, Derek, David, whatever. All the members, Damian Watts. It just goes on. April Mason, April Watts, all of them. We're a family. So it's like, this is what I need, this is what we can help, this is what we do. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So Big Harrison, the old NFL player, whatever we need, we get it done. Josiah, what you need? What you do? Swift Motion, we got people make movies. You get what I'm saying? Show, we got a dog trainer. You need to protect what you need. You get what I'm saying? So it's all about getting to the bag, getting to the money. Brittany do health clinics herself. So it's connections.
Anything someone needs, it's all things Bostic. Everything you need, all things Bostic.
No, everything Bostic.
Everything Bostic.
There you go. .com. That's the website. I ain't even got nothing on it already, but I already put it in motion.
Absolutely.
I get my team on there and say, go ahead and do it.
Absolutely.
But that's what I'm passionate in, helping people in situations. And I want to get things done. You say, look, this is what I need, and I do it. And my wife sit back and say, just when I thought you were just calming down, you go get another business.
Yeah, but the cool thing about this next business is you, in a way, get to consolidate all of your resources, all the different ways that you can like connect different people. It goes into one phone.
Absolutely.
And then you can consolidate your energy.
Absolutely. This Boss Up Conference family will help change the world, period.
Absolutely.
Hands down.
Yeah.
We're bringing the best people in the room and making these things happen. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And Rose, he already a master marketer. But what these members sparking me? Oh man, when you tell me you're making $1 million a month, oh bro, what am I doing?
Yeah.
You follow what I'm saying?
Absolutely. So I feel like this entire story comes to a really cool combination of like you having all these different businesses, you being a wolf, you being like in all these different situations, you kind of growing up, having a little bit of entrepreneurial background, figuring out how do you duplicate yourself really early on.
Right.
Then the lesson comes back, you're trying to figure out how to do that as an entrepreneur.
Right.
All these different stories are like really making you who you are. And that's why you introduce yourself as a wolf.
Yeah, I'm Alexander Bostic, I'm a wolf.
It's not the different
I can't brand me. I don't know. When I talked to Donnie said, well, who are you? What do you want to become? I said, I don't know. I'm a wolf. I'm whatever I need to do to make the kill to make them things happen. My mom told me, man, plan your work your plan. That's all I know how to do.
I feel you, but I think what's the sentiment that I'm receiving right now, you maintain order. Like when it comes to entrepreneurship, everybody talks about being a lion, right? The difference, when I say the difference between a lion and a wolf, I believe it's values, it's order, it's values.
Also, a lion sleep 23 hours out the day, and they wake up for the kill and they go back to sleep, and they let the female go do all the work, right? But when it's time to fight, the lion fights. But you have to be a hybrid of different animals, right? That's why the eagle is the bird and the animal of the conference, because nothing flies higher than the eagle.
You got to have somebody on the ground and you got to have somebody up.
Nothing flies higher than the eagle.
No.
I can deal with stuff up here and I can come down and deal with you. Whatever you want to do. And you ever seen an eagle throw a goat off a cliff?
No.
Go YouTube it.
Really?
Yeah, YouTube eagle throws goat off cliff. That's how the eagle eat. I learned that from a rock.
Are you serious?
Tony Smith, yeah. Because what happens is they grab the goat and they throw them off the cliff. That's how they break up the meat.
Wow.
So as the goat is bouncing off of the cliff, boom, it's breaking up the meat. So by the time they get to the bottom, they got an easy kill.
I got you.
So what we're doing, we're just breaking up the meat. We're breaking up this whole pie so that everybody in the conference can eat.
I got you. So Donnie's question might be a little different, right? Where it's like, you branding yourself. But what you do know is the one question that you have to ask yourself before you run any play is, what is it that you want, right? So when you think about, your Saturdays being the most sacred day, right? Because that's your family. And then all your skill sets, everything that you have, they're bringing to 2021 and after the pandemic. You're touching all these people who have lots of pocketbooks and lots of...
And all my business made it through COVID.
All of them. Well, see, and that's the thing. Considering all of those things, what is it that you want, right? And if you could get what you want, would you let go of any of the other businesses, or do they all serve to what it is that you want?
You asked me, what do I want? Oof. That's going to have to be another broadcast. I'll give you this answer.
Let's go.
I want everybody around me to win. I always tell my partners, I say, you need to make what I make. Only reason I make more is that you have to duplicate me. And that's why I get on him. Man, I'm trying to, and to tell you, he be like, man, how did, he always send me a text. He said, it always starts off like this. Alice, without getting mad, just let me know. He always say, without getting mad, because my thing is, you should know what I want. I'm training, I'm trying to, bruh, I need to move to do this, so you need to do this. You get what I'm saying?
True.
So, but you know what happens though? When I get cut down from my raw, from people I'm in charge with Rose, that's what they say, bro, you should know. And I say, God, dog. So I'll be a little more compassionate when I'm talking to Aunt, because I want them to be compassionate to me.
Right.
My pastor, I'm like, dang. Because I'm also an assistant pastor. Yeah. At the Well Y'all Synagogue, I'm also an assistant pastor. Yep.
That's why you mentioned taking your church to the next
synagogue. Yeah.
So
that's what I do now. That's my goal. But at the end of the day, I'm well grounded because that allows me, when I want to do this, my team got my back. And I pay them as such. I tell them I will pay them $1 every contract they get on security. So if you get a 1,000-hour contract during a week, you getting paid that and you ain't got to do no work. If you don't go get it, and I'm lying. Nope. So if you don't go get it, it's up to you.
Yeah.
I want to provide things in the room to make you succeed, period.
Okay.
Whatever I made, all my workers made, the key people that's in my organization, they make more than I made working security.
I got you.
And I'm lying?
Okay.
That's what it's about.
Yeah.
You got to, Rose always said, he said, you got to strengthen your circle. If you got to empower your circle. Because if your circle keep asking you for stuff, I don't got nobody around me begging. Because if you're around me, you should be grinding with me. If you beside me, I respect you. You're going to respect me. If you behind me, I'm going to protect you.
Yeah.
So everybody want to ask me for something. Obviously, you ain't get the picture. You ain't trying to work with me. And you got people that don't know about you, but there's certain ways you got to get in. I got to be able to help people. That's how I continue to grow.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. This has been a spectacular interview.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I told you that before you started.
You did. But I didn't know how.
Listen.
You didn't know how either.
Who, me?
Oh, I mean, sometimes we know, but we don't know the how.
No, because you know why? You know how? Because I'm going to give you my all. I'm going to give you my best. When I give person my best, it's nothing but successful will come out of it.
Right. And when I set my intention to be the best that I can. Open my ears, listen, and we get in here.
That's it. You're a student of the game. How we actually met was I just came to Social Proof Podcast to go social support the Dave, and then I met you. And out of whatever reason, I said, let's do an interview.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? So you keep grinding. I appreciate it. I appreciate you having. This is actually my first podcast. I never wanted to do them. Yeah.
You got so many gems, though. So
That's
and
what
you know what?
tell me.
I'm going to, before we get up out of here, we have to end with a gem, because the Work and Play podcast was designed through my own idea of what life I want to create for myself. I've spent my whole career in a cubicle. When I say work and play, I want to be able to be a wolf, enjoy my life, make money at the same time, and never feel like I'm really like sacrificing my freedom ever again. So for the folks who are still in the cubicle, right? Folks who still had their 9 to 5, they want to be a wolf, or they want to be something close to it. They want to be at least a worker for a wolf, and they can make more money doing what they do in their job.
Why do you have to leave a cubicle?
Because I believe a cubicle is confining.
So what if you make $200,000 in a cubicle? Would you leave?
Well, when you think about it, yeah, because the passion and the purpose, and if you don't feel like what you're doing is serving a purpose, then it doesn't matter how much money you
make. Why don't you take that money and then do that service on the outside, but still keep getting that money?
That's a good question. If that's the strategy, then that's the strategy.
Because I think so. At the end of the day, a lot of people's strategy is to make money.
Well, see, you said that in the beginning, right?
Right.
You said that in the beginning. That's why you ended up with 4 businesses. Right. What happens a lot of times in corporate is when you spend a lot of time so far from impact, you've done a lot of things in your life that feeds you in your soul. For me, I woke up when I realized I had a soul, when I created the career readiness program,
Right.
and I realized I can teach young people how to develop their own system of increasing their socioeconomic status. I couldn't get that in a cubicle.
But
And wait a minute, you said, what would you do for free? I would do that for free. So I decided to leave the cubicle in order to find a life or an ecosystem and create an ecosystem around that. You've created an ecosystem around your passion.
Right.
And so for people who want to do that.
So what if you had a boss that gave you everything you wanted and allow you to do what you want to do? You still leave?
Yeah, I actually would.
Wow.
I mean,
you know what I'm afraid of? What's going to end up happening? We're going to go back to the beginning of time. Because everybody's going to end up bartering and it's not going to be about the money. We're going to develop so many entrepreneurs that nobody not going to even want to work for you.
Why are you afraid of that?
Because you're not going to have no employees.
Well, see, that's the thing. Everybody is not necessarily, so even if you're entrepreneurial mindset, even if you're entrepreneurial minded, you can work for a person who respects the entrepreneurial grind. So when you say a boss, right? There are certain restrictions that you get in corporate that you might not get working for you, right? You might allow them to creatively think about something. Hey, if you got a good idea, bring it to me.
But you're going to become corporate. Eventually, you're going to become big.
If the entrepreneur gets big enough, that's true.
Right, and so what's going to happen is
it's inevitable.
You're going to be the enemy of your own success.
So there was a book, we read this in The One Thing, right?
Okay.
And what he said was every entrepreneur gets to a place where they start their entrepreneurial journey because they love like the hunt and like being an entrepreneur, right? But then they get to a place where they realize in order for me to scale, I have to turn this thing into the thing that I don't really love.
Yeah, the monster.
I understand what you're saying. But philosophically, and as it relates to America, a lot of the Fortune 500 companies that exist today truly are a reincarnation of plantations. If I were to create a corporation from me, it's not going to be.
Don't make me go deep now.
Hey, I go deep every day.
You want me to go deep?
I'm ready.
Ask you. Oh, what? Oh man, now what did you just say?
I said that a lot of Fortune 500 companies today are a reincarnation or a different rendition of plantations.
Okay, and what does that mean?
And that means that the money that is seeded from slavery, from 400 years ago when slavery existed, was seeded from an economic system that thrived off of black bodies. Now, if I become a corporation owner, if I become an owner of a corporation that lives on beyond me, the foundation of my company is not going to be in plantation money. And that's at the high level. So that is what understanding I have right now. And that's what says, okay, even if I create a corporation, which I plan to, I believe that it's going to be grounded in my own values and it won't be a representation of a slave master.
Now you said you started this conversation. I ain't started this, right?
All right.
You started this conversation, right? It's all depending on who you are and who you are working for, right? You ever heard of etymology?
No, yes, but I'm not sure what it is.
Etymology is the history of words and how words start.
Okay.
Right? I'm a big proponent of that, right? And learning this.
Yes.
So I break out words that you never even thought about, right? When I give you this word, what's the first thing come to mind?
Help.
Help. What's the first thing come to mind?
Assistance, support.
Support. What else?
Need, servant, serve.
Serve.
Yeah.
Okay. So now this is the etymology of the word help.
Yeah.
All right. I want you to read this. All right. You ready?
Yes.
Just read the first sentence.
To help, support, succor, benefit, do good, to cure, amend. Let's see. From Germanic, I'm not sure how to say that word. So yeah, I think I did the rest of it.
You got that, right?
Yeah.
So now in 1856, what do you think what the concerted help was? Now read that last part right there.
The last part. Let's see. Help wanted. Oh, okay. A domestic servant of American birth and without Negro blood in his or her vein is not a servant, but a help. Ooh. Help wanted is a common heading of advertisements in the North when servants are required. Help wanted. So that means you want someone without Negro blood.
So think about it. I'm like, let's simmer for a little minute.
Yeah, I'm thinking about that one.
And that came from a book that I was reading in 1856. See, I got a whole nother side of me too. I got a side of me where I dive into history, because history will show you how people today, how they work and they operate. When you're on a job, are you the help or are you the servant? Are you really helping this cause or are you just a worker, just a servant, right? They told you a help is somebody, the help is somebody without Negro blood. But if you got Negro blood, then you're just a slave or servant. So when you see signs that say help wanted, what are they saying?
That we want to hire white people.
So, and I'm not jumping on this podcast to go, but I educate even my Caucasian people as well. Because I tell them, you got to think, these are the things that we have to deal with. These are things we got to look at. Right?
Yeah.
If somebody's saying help wanted, why do you think people always saying, why are a lot of African Americans working in that? Brother, you got to think of the mindset on what it was before. It's not meant for you.
I hear what you're saying. I know. That's
So
where I'm.
I see and understand, but all I'm saying is when you're in an organization, I'm not here to go history or Black Power. I'm just here to say when you're inside an organization, you be that person that's a help.
Yes, and not
to
a
get benefit on your goals and the company goals.
I will not debate. I will not debate. I'm gonna cut it right here. We can have a whole other conversation off the podcast. Cause listen, I know you're a busy man. You gotta get up out of here, and you guys have that so much value in this one conversation that. Listen, what I will say is if you would like to stay in contact with Mr. Bostic, if you want to stay connected with his movement, or if you want to work with him, Mr. Bostic, how can they get connected with him?
On Instagram, you can go to Bostic Sharoth. That's at BOSTIC SHARATH. I can be reached there. And also, you can go ahead and follow the Boss Up Conference. Follow the Boss Up Conference. And follow everybody that the Boss Up Conference is following, because it's a movement to be able to help and to be able to get things out and to leak things and make certain connections. You can also email us at info@thebossupconference.com. You can also do that as well. So
that's beautiful.
Yeah.
I
just hope this interview was beneficial. And
hey guys, it's Ariel from the Work and Play podcast. If you're getting any value from this channel, and I mean anything from the tutorials to the podcast to the random videos that you see on this channel, then I just ask that you do one thing. Please subscribe. Subscribe and share this to anyone that you think this resonates with, and drop a comment below so I know what other things that you want to see next. Now let's get back to the episode. It absolutely.
And educate people at the same time.
Yes.
You know, just understand the mindset just to be where we need to be at in life.
Absolutely. I'm not gonna say nothing else. Y'all know what to do. Go ahead. Until next time, tune in. Catch y'all later. Peace.
All right.